So my name is Lorena Zárate. I'm working in Habitat International Coalition, part of the HIC, based in Mexico City. HIC has been working on the right to the city for a long time now, since 1995 actually inside the organization, and then since 2001 inside the World Social Forum, all together with other organizations and networks, and especially with our members and partners in Brazil, inside the National Forum for Urban Reform. So inside the Social Forum, we developed together this global charter for the right to the city, and since then the charter has been a very important tool in several cities and countries, both at the level of norms and other charters and even constitutions, to inspire that and to change that, and also at the level of political mobilization, social mobilization, articulation, and proposals from the civil society and the social movements. So since then we have been working also with several organizations from the local level in developing different tools and charters and strengthening different movements.
Well, I am Ana Falú, Argentinian architect. I'm a professor and researcher at the National University of Córdoba, Argentina, an expert for UN Habitat and an activist for the social right to the cities and to housing for women. We think that the approach of rights is very important, the approach of human rights, because it is women's human rights that are bringing us the umbrella for understanding the right to the city, not only to work, to study, but also to enjoy the city, the recreation, the use of the public spaces, yeah? And also the same in the sense of women's right to housing. Women are the majority. There is a very important percentage of women that are headed households. So in Latin America, they are around 30% in all the countries, and those women are, in general, the ones that, of course, not all, but they are most of them in the fringe of the most poor. And those women that are the most poor, according to the data we have in ECLAC, in CEPAL, are the ones that have more children. And there are those same women that are living in the peripheries of the cities. So we need to have subsidies for housing, explicit subsidies, explicit redistribution of the land plus value. For instance, there are a lot of instruments, Nelson, that are well known, like the instruments on the plus value of land, the overvalue of land, the urban land value. And we can use those to redistribute a percentage of those, a small percentage, to redistribute in better quality for women. What that will mean? More creche, for instance. More places where women can leave their children secure so they can work, so they can really be autonomous. If they have economic autonomy, they can claim their rights, the right to the city, the right to the house, the right to services, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera.
Mi nombre es Annelise Meléndez, trabajo en una organización que se llama Red Habitat y hace 25 años más o menos estamos promoviendo el derecho humano a la vivienda. El derecho humano a la vivienda tiene una serie de atributos que no se las entiende solamente en el espacio privado. Tiene que ver con componentes del espacio público, del derecho a tener un barrio seguro, a vivir en comunidad, y eso obviamente extiende el derecho a la vivienda a una comprensión mucho más holística y amplia. Y el derecho a la ciudad ha venido a completar un enfoque de trabajo a partir del cual se constituye en un paraguas que nos permite temáticamente abordar, por ejemplo, temas de cambio climático, incorporar a la vivienda todo lo que es la cultura del agua, la cosecha de agua, el pensar el tema de la sostenibilidad ambiental, pero también hacer incidencia política para lograr que el derecho humano a la vivienda adecuada que hemos constitucionalizado recientemente pueda ser entendido no solamente en el enfoque de construir casas, sino de construir un hábitat integral.
My name is Billy Cobbett. I am the director of the Cities Alliance, based in Brussels. I think the right to the city is a concept which has been most obviously developed in Latin America and the Caribbean over the last 2 decades. I think the potential for it to be globalized through the Habitat 3 process is one of the most important challenges that we would face in adopting this new urban agenda. I think it will have enormous relevance in Africa, Asia, and the other regions where this is still far more contested as a concept than it is in Latin America.
El derecho a las ciudades es ese paraguas que nos permite entender de que las personas tienen derecho a una vivienda, pero tienen derecho a trabajar, tienen derecho a educarse, tienen derecho a tener una buena salud, tienen derecho a movilizarse. Y los 5 principios que nosotros manejamos, que es la función social, la gestión democrática del hábitat, que es la producción del hábitat de forma participativa, generar mecanismos de participación de la gente para que participe en la planeación de su barrio, de su vivienda, de su ciudad, son fundamentales.
I'm Jane Katz. I'm from Habitat for Humanity International, and I'm here representing Habitat for Humanity, as well as having been elected recent chair of the civil society organization in the General Assembly of Partners. Well, I think that it would be very important to make sure that we're including a number of different platforms, and that the right to the city would be one of the elements that should be included so that it is inclusive, and that we would be addressing all of the issues of equity and justice, housing, working with vulnerable groups, and all of them should have access to the city.
My name is Agnes Kola. I'm the National Women's Rights Coordinator of ActionAid Kenya. And ActionAid Kenya works around helping women in slum areas to be able to realize and enjoy their rights to the city. And this is important for us because we understand that all human beings have rights that must be fulfilled and upheld by the state. And at the same time, the human beings must be enabled to understand what these rights are and how they can be able to access them. So for us, Right to the City is primarily looking at how we can work with women who are our core group on realizing what their rights are, and the ways in which they access them is to be able to work with the state and other actors so they may be able to get gender-responsive services related to sanitation, related to lighting, related to public transportation. So ActionAid is very keen on working with communities to achieve their right to the city, so that ultimately we can be able to live a life of dignity, a life that does not oppress them, a life that enables them to be able to enjoy all that is constitutionally provided for them as citizens of Kenya.
I'm Leilani Farhad, a Special Rapporteur on the Right to Housing. I was appointed by the UN Human Rights Council. With rapid urbanization and migration, people living in informal settlements, how do we ensure they enjoy the right to adequate housing? We know that activities so far, since the last Habitat 2, are not so successful. Obviously, we're seeing millions of people with no secure tenure, being evicted, living homeless, living without water, sewage, electricity. So obviously what happened between Habitat 2 and now has not been so successful. So the question for us right now is, how can we be successful? Because it's so important to promote an adequate standard of living, to promote peace and security for people in their everyday lives. So we have a lot of work to do between now and Habitat 3. We have to be creative, and I think we have to be bold. I think we have to ask our governments, national level governments and local governments, to do more, to do better, and to ensure the right to adequate housing for the most vulnerable people.
There are a lot of challenges still. Not only housing, the right of housing, the right of adequate housing for everybody, but the right of services, the proximity of services, equipment, infrastructure, the accessibility, the transport, the good accessibility and mobility, the safe mobility for women and children. Women are taking care, are the caretakers of humanity. They are taking care of children, of adults, of the sick people, of the handicapped. They are doing all the management with the local authorities, with the communities. They are mainly the one defending the quality of life, not only because of themselves, but also because of the childhood, the dependence they have on their shoulders. So it is central to work on those challenges, to really consider the gender perspective in a more concrete policy approach and a less rhetoric approach. Yeah? I think this is one of the relevant points and issues we need to work on. And also, there is another emergent issue in our cities of Latin America, that is violence, the increase of violence in the cities. The need to have safe public spaces, safe transport, safe roads, streets, neighborhoods.
Yes, I think it is possible to incorporate, not only possible but necessary, to incorporate the debate around the right to the city in the Habitat 3 process, so that it provokes a dialogue that leads to a reconceptualization of the role of the city and of citizens within that city. I think that's the dialogue that's been missing as we look at the city in far too instrumental a fashion. So I think this is a debate that is necessary and will have resonance in all regions of the world.
So now we are in a very special moment in the sense that we have several movements, several organizations working on this at different levels, not just at the legal level but also the political level, the pedagogical level, the concrete projects and concrete struggles in different places. So we had a lot of things going on, a lot of knowledge and exchanges, but also we have now this special moment of the Habitat 3 conference, and the conference is supposed to discuss a new urban agenda, and for that we think that it's very important that the voice of the civil society and the social movements is included, is heard somehow, inside and outside the official process and the official conference, and not just to protest and to denounce the things that are going wrong and bad. Of course, the huge speculation, the gentrification processes, the mega projects all over in the north and in the south, but also the things that we think that they're going in a good way, local projects, local initiatives, and some tools, some instruments that can provide us with elements to try to build different kind of cities that we deserve, just cities, democratic cities, and inclusive cities.